talk to Gage.
Well, this is interesting. Hello everyone, welcome back to another video here on N-Gage. It's been a minute. I haven't been making videos in quite some time. Really, ever since I started this channel, it's been whenever I feel like making videos, then I'll make videos, you know, and I kind of took a bit of a break. You know, I was going through a really rough time, just needed to focus on other things in life. And, you know, a whole lot of other things that happened. And if there's any interest or intrigue about that, then maybe I'll make a video kind of talking about some of my thoughts on just reflecting on certain things that have been happening in my life as of late. But I want to highlight this comment. I'm going to put it up on screen for you guys because it was, once I read it, it was actually really inspiring to me. And I think it was in part what really made me want to make this video right here and get back to making content for you guys. Although content's probably not the right word to use. I prefer to use the word art or something like, you know, something like that. Anyways, you who left this comment, very inspirational to me. Thank you. It really helped me to just get back into doing this, you know, sit in front of the camera and recording. But also we've kind of had a bit of a boom in subscribers and viewers, especially of certain videos. Like my Walking Dead video is almost at 10,000 views, and that is weird to even say that. It's amazing. So thank you all for the support. Thank you all for commenting, subscribing. But let's just get right into the topic of today, and I'll digress on all that for now. So I wanted to talk in this video about media because it's more and more seeming to be that media has started to peak. And I don't know if everyone feels that way, but have you been feeling that? Like, I feel like media as of late has just started not reaching as far as it can, not going as far as it could. This really became apparent to me in the past year or so, because you guys know me. Like, if you go back to the beginning of this channel, when I was playing games and making episodes on you know, playing Somerville or Apex Legends with Gabriel or Stanley Parable, or I was talking about some of my favorite games like Peter Jackson's King Kong or Splinter Cell or tactical shooters or whatever it was. Like, I've always been passionate about video games, but also movies and other media as well. But video games was just something that me and, you know, my brothers we always grew up taking part in and enjoying. But this past year is really, it's been weird. It's been difficult because I started going back and playing a bunch of the older games that I was always intrigued by. I'd always heard crazy good things about them, and I played them. And a lot of them were actually amazing. You know, I played the Red Dead series, and I played the Mass Effect series, and then I played Telltale's The Walking Dead series. Games like that I'd always heard so much about, and I was always intrigued by them because they seemed like things I'd never experienced before. They seemed like things that were really pushing the boundaries of what video games could do and be. And BioShock as well was something that you could put in that camp as well, but I played that years ago. But that brings up kind of my point, because while I believe that things can always improve and become new to us again, I do feel like studios and big companies are choosing to not really innovate, not really go beyond what is possible right now. Because you look at all the loot boxes and the microtransactions, the soulless game design that's just copies of everything else. Like, everything's starting to feel like this big just collective one thing. Like, video games are just becoming like one single thing, and a lot of them are copying, like, you know, a lot of the big, we're specifically mostly talking about big studios right now, but a lot of the big studios are abandoning innovation and unique storytelling that video games provide, those experiences, and they're instead going after the sort of movie approach with, like, you know, all the RPG like skill trees and, you know, all that junk that at this point just kind of feels superfluous to me. And I don't really get excited about a lot of games that look like that, you know, that feel like that, because most of the big companies are chasing after that. So this isn't to say that all games today are bad, because I don't think that's true. Like, I actually think that there's a lot of really good games that are coming out. You know, Super Mario Brothers Wonder just came out. I've heard good things about that. I haven't played it myself. Tears of the Kingdom came out. Heard good things about that. And of course, Nintendo is always going to be like just first and foremost putting fun in their games. So really respect them for that. But then, like, you know, Jedi Fallen Order came out and Starfield came out, and, like, you know, there's been controversies with both, but they're good games. But it's those controversies that I think are the point I'm making with this video, is that specifically when it comes to video games, a lot of them just don't feel impactful anymore. There's nothing really drawing me to new video game experiences that I haven't already experienced. And this might seem kind of pretentious of me to say, but my thought has always been, if something new comes out and people compare it to something else that I have played, if it's not better than that thing, then I struggle to want to play it. Because when it comes to art of any form, the most interesting aspect of art to me is the fact that the individual artists put parts of themselves in it. And you can see that, and you can tell that, like, oh, no one else could make that. I think of Earthbound. Like, Earthbound to me was phenomenal. And it's not because it was insanely fun or the best JRPG I've ever played. I've played other JRPGs that are more fun, but the thing with Earthbound is that it felt like it was Shigesato Itoi's brainchild. Like, there's never going to be another game like Earthbound. No one can exactly copy it. Yeah, there's things like Amori and Undertale, but they don't have that same feel to them. There's something there. There's a lot there that feels like it's a toy. And I love that. That's so imaginative. It's so inspiring to me, because only he could make that. It kind of inspires me whenever I do anything here on YouTube. You know, I try to put a little bit of myself in every video, because only I can do that. Only I can make videos exactly as I do here on N-Gage, because even if someone copied every word that I said and all the footage I said and just put themselves in the video, it's still not going to be me. It's still going to feel different. There's certain aspects of me that aren't going to come through because it's just someone else. I'm getting kind of overinflated with all this. I'm trying to keep it fairly straightforward, but that's kind of the point I'm trying to make, is that I enjoy video games. I still do, and I just enjoy the sort of artistry to it. And if it feels soulless, if it feels like there's no passion, it's just like by the books, just copy and pasted all these systems and mechanics from the previous game or from this other big millions of games that are popular, I just don't care that much. The only thing I remember playing this year that was new was, or it's two. It was Fire Emblem Engage, because I'm a huge Fire Emblem fan. If they could release anything with the name Fire Emblem on it, I'd probably buy it and play it. And the second game was Amnesia: The Bunker. Both of those games, all right, so I can't say Engage was really that great, because I have a lot of problems with Engage, but something like Amnesia: The Bunker really felt interesting to me. It was, you know, of course, Frictional Games is a much smaller studio. It's a budget title, but that game, for how short it was just so densely packed, and it felt unique. It felt like it had enough heart in it, enough soul, enough passion that I've just not been seeing in other studios. You know, I miss the days when, you know, video games would come out and, you know, you had like your BioShock, you know, your Mass Effect. These games happen. You know, Elden Ring just happened a year or two ago. That was a big deal. It was new, it was fresh. You know, it wasn't personally my thing, but it was one of those, you know, big cultural sort of games that people are going to look back on and remember and be like, yeah, there it was, you know. But it just feels like, in general, I don't find myself playing as much lately. I go multiple days, weeks, just not even really thinking about gaming, which is kind of sad, because, you know, it's always been a big part of my pastime, what I enjoy doing as a hobby. But until studios start valuing unique experiences, more passion, heart, just being put in their games, I just don't know if I'm ever going to get into them like I used to. Like, if I hear JRPG that could mean a lot of things. But if you say Persona 5, JRPG, you know, the style of that game, the story, the characters, the unique relationship building mechanics, you know, it's something we don't really see a whole lot. It's becoming more popular, but not something we see a whole lot. That's a great game. And so now it's kind of that thing of like, oh, it's kind of difficult for me to want to play other JRPGs unless it has some other draw to it. If it's just a JRPG, well, like, why wouldn't I just play a Persona game? Hopefully my point is kind of coming through with this video. Hopefully you're kind of understanding where I'm coming from. But then this kind of also applies to movies, and I'm gonna try to not talk about this for as long, but same thing with movies. You know, nowadays it's all about like the agendas, you know, the meaning in movies, but the problem with that is that it's usually heavy-handed and they're sacrificing good storytelling for just forcing an ideology down your throat. Because I think every good piece of cinema has something to say. I think that is why I personally am a way bigger fan of The Thing from 1982 versus Alien. I think it's from like 1978 or 9. Because The Thing feels like it has more to say. And these movies are very similar. Like if you watch them, they have a very similar tone and sort of identity. But The Thing felt like it had more to say than Alien did. Even though these are both amazing movies, and I recently just rewatched Alien. Very, very good movie. But I think all great pieces of cinema have something to tell us, something that they want to communicate, a subtext of the story that they want to impart onto us. And let's just think on it. It's not something they're forcing, like, oh, believe this, you know, just flashing it in front of your face. That's not real cinema. That's not art. That's just an advertisement, you know? And that's what it feels like a lot of movies are nowadays. Like you can tell, like, oh, that's pandering, you know? That's what that is. I just hate that. I don't like that. I miss when there was more artistry within movies as well. And again, that's not to say that there aren't good movies. It's not to say that they're, you know, not still making movies like this. There's still directors that do this type of thing. And Wes Anderson's just the first one comes to my mind. And Jordan Peele's another one that just make unique things that just feel like exactly what movies are missing right now. That's another thing I did was I went back and I was rewatching or watching movies from years gone by, and I've been doing that a lot recently, just like trying to find movies to just enjoy that I missed. And it's been a lot of fun. I've been collecting a lot of physical movies that I've never seen, or the ones that I wanted to own on Blu-ray or whatever it is. It's been really cool to do that. I already did that with video games, and now I'm kind of at that point where I'm like, there's nothing drawing me to playing games. You know, again, especially because both movies and games now have this whole streaming setup and digital format, which is also just making me feel so disconnected from it. Because if a movie comes out on streaming, I almost instantly don't care about it because I know that there's a good chance it'll be lost forever if it doesn't have a physical copy. And that sucks, you know, because I know there's some good movies on streaming, and a lot of them, like, I don't care about the streaming services unless like a One Piece live action comes out, I'll watch that. But I don't want to do that when I can't actually own the product. I can't own the movie. And same thing with video games. A lot of you here might be saying, oh, Gage, you said all this stuff about, you know, big studio gaming, but like, what about the small studios? And while that is true to an extent, like, yeah, there's indie games that are really good. There's also a lot of indie games that are crap, that aren't very good. And the thing with that is, even if we find the good ones, the problem is still that you can't really own them. A lot of them are digital only, and that's understandable because they're a smaller studio. It's just not gonna happen. And yeah, that means we get to experience the game, and I'm not opposed to that, because in the case of Amnesia the Bunker, that doesn't have a physical, and I'm extremely sad by that. But it's a fantastic game and one worth playing, even if it is just a digital copy. But again, some of those same things still just apply. It's just a lot of things that I feel very disconnected from these days when it comes to video games and when it comes to movies as well. And truthfully, I think that's a big reason why I've stopped uploading here on my channel. And I've just not had anything new that I've cared about. So that's why I haven't really been uploading too much. That kind of brings us to right now, and I want to definitely throw this topic y'all's way. Like, have you been feeling this at all? Have you not? Do you think I'm an idiot for thinking this? Because I know that there are people out there that strongly disagree with takes like these. My little brother Gunner and I talk about this quite a bit lately, and he strongly disagrees with my perspective. And I think part of this topic too has to do with age. You know, how old are you, and you know, how long have you been playing video games? Because I've been playing them since I was a kid, and so there's very few games that I'm at least not aware of that exist. I've at least heard of pretty much everything that's notable, minus maybe like a couple things and PC related things I don't know as much about, and I've experienced pretty much everything that I feel like I really needed to, quote unquote, to have experienced the best gaming has to offer. Yeah, it's kind of sad, but again, part of this has to do with age. I'm 20 years old. I've been doing this since I was like 2 or 3 years old, like with my Game Boy Advance SP with Yoshi's Island on it. You know, like, there are games that are always going to be fun to me, and I'm always going to want to replay them. So I'm not saying like I'm done with gaming necessarily. So yeah, what do you all think about this? What are your thoughts? Definitely leave them in the comments below. And one final thought I also wanted to throw in here before I end the video is, I believe movies and video games, I believe media has peaked. However, I don't believe it has to stay that way. I believe it peaked, and now we're kind of on a decline, but that's not to say we can't go back up. Now, maybe that technically isn't peaking then, but what I'm trying to say is it feels like movie studios, video game studios, these studios have decided to not reach out and innovate and do something that has never been done before, or at least just put their unique creativity in a project. It feels like everything is so corporate these days and lacking in just the unique aspects. So I think right now we've peaked. I feel like we're only heading down right now. But that's not to say things can't change in the future, because I think they can. I just kind of doubt it will happen anytime soon or even at all, because studios seem very set on continuing to do the exact same things, and probably part of that is just because it makes money. And if it makes money, studios are going to continue to do it, unfortunately. But it does kind of make sense. But anyways, yes, leave your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear about them. I'm back. Hello. I will make videos again. I promise. I'm not completely done with YouTube or anything. But I'm just not, you know, I just make videos whenever, like, I think of something I really want to talk about. Then I'll make a video on it. But yeah, thank you all for your patience. Thank you for hanging out this long. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. If you didn't, thank you for watching this long. And I guess I'll see you guys in the next one. God bless.
I wish I knew.